Welcome back. Now that you've done your homework, I want to talk about the importance of owning and defining your brand. Your brand, how you're known in the world, consists of three pillars: what people see when they see you, what people hear about you and from you, and what people feel when they experience you. What people see. Let's start with the first pillar, what people see. Whether we like it or not, we live in a judgmental society. We often hear people say, you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. Well, here are the facts. People do, and they do it all the time. When you are going out into the world, particularly if you want to maximize your success, your chances of success in the workforce, you've got to do a couple of things. First and foremost, familiarize yourself with the standards in your particular industry when it comes to dress, how people wear their hair, how people wear their clothes. It's really important to make sure that you are aligned with that vision of where you want to go. I'm not saying by any stretch of the imagination that you should become a clone. I want you to be your authentic self. You are the only you that there is. There's nobody else that has your divine purpose and what you have to offer. So you want to be able to express yourself creatively with your hair, with your clothes, etc. At the same time, you want to be mindful of the fact that the people who you want to work with or work for or maybe hire are going to be looking at you. And if you put yourself together in a way that's presentable, that exudes confidence, that shows that you know what you're doing and that you can be a leader, it will go a lot farther for you. Be mindful of that. Do your research. Look to see what the trends are. Look to see what people are wearing, and then find how within that space you can control the narrative, you can control your look. Be authentic, be you. I'll hear people say, but I want to keep it real, I need to be myself. Yes, you need to be yourself, but be your best self. Be that self that looks powerful, that looks like a leader. So be mindful of how you dress. When people see you, they also see how you move in space, how you show up in the workplace. Do you have a good attitude? Are you smiling? Do you have good energy? Do you make eye contact? Are you on time? Do you stay late? The visual of how you move through a workplace can be the difference between you getting hired and getting rehired. So for example, at the end of every summer, when they're doing summer evaluations, like say you're a summer intern, 9 times out of 10, the directors, the staff, they'll get around and they'll talk about the year that's gonna come. And they'll look at the pool of interns, because I've done it, and we'll say, will we hire this person again? You want to be in the absolutely will hire them again pile. You don't want to be in the, well, I don't know pile, and you definitely don't want to be in the absolutely not pile. So when we talk about your brand, how we see you moving in space, your work ethic is part of that. How we see you, how you dress, how you move in space, and how you present on social media. It's important. I myself have not hired people, have not even interviewed people based on what they post on their social media. As soon as somebody puts in a resume or a cover letter to me, I'm on their Snapchat, I'm on their Instagram, I'm on their Facebook. I want to see how they present themselves. Is it aligned with my company and with my business? Is it aligned with who they presented themselves to be during their interview process? And does it represent somebody that I want to work with? So be mindful what we see, how you dress, how you move through space, and also how you present yourself in your social media networks and just in the public in general. The second pillar is what we hear. That has two pieces to it, two parts to it. What we hear, what comes out of your mouth. Are you articulate? How do you express yourself? How do you communicate with others? How do you express your ideas? All of that is really important. Are you somebody who is argumentative? Are you somebody who listens to other people's ideas? How do you engage with people? How do you talk to people? It's critical. What we hear about you, that's the other piece of it. That's your reputation. That two parts, right? The first part, what we hear that comes out of your mouth. That second part is what we hear about you. What do people say about you? What is your reputation in the workspace? You'd be surprised about how small the world is and how small any given industry is. So whatever reputation that you're creating, whatever name you're making for yourself, word will get around. You don't want people to hear that you're difficult to work with. You don't want people to hear that you are unreliable and you don't keep your word, you don't follow through. So be really mindful that that's part of your brand, your reputation. The third pillar, which is really, I think, probably the most important, how people feel when they're in your space. How do they experience you? What is the energy? For myself, my intention in any space, no matter who I'm talking to, whether it's the CEO of a business that I'm working with, or the cashier at the local drugstore, I want to make sure that my energy is on point, that people feel positive energy when they're around me, that they feel excitement, that they feel my enthusiasm. I want people to feel good when they're in my company. When people see me coming, I want them to be excited that I'm coming. And when they see me leaving, or when we part company, I want them to be like, dang, I can't wait to see Muadi again. I don't want to ever be that person that when people see me coming, they're like, ooh, here she comes. Let's get out of the way. Or when she leaves, oh my gosh, here she comes again. I can't wait. I'm so glad she's gone. I don't want to be that person most times. The only time when I want to maybe have a little bit of that energy is when I'm choreographing. When I'm working with dancers, when they see me coming, I want them to say, see, oh, here comes Miss Muadi. We're going to have to work hard. That's part of my brand. That's part of my reputation. So again, the 3 pillars of our brand: what people see, what are they looking at when they see you physically, what do they see in social media, in the public, your public persona, what they hear coming out of your mouth, the words that you say and the way you communicate, your reputation in the marketplace, and how they experience you. And you want to make sure that your brand is consistent and that it's aligned, so that what I see outside matches what I see when I see you face to face. That your reputation matches who you are when I experience you. So in your homework, this is a really, really important piece of the homework that I really don't want you to miss. We've invited you to come up with some adjectives, some descriptors to describe what your brand would be with each of those pillars. What is your ideal? In the ideal world, how do you want to be seen? If you had your way, how do you want people to talk about you? What do you want them to hear coming out of your mouth? What do you want them to hear about your reputation? In the ideal world, how do you want them to experience you? Once you've done that homework, be honest, maybe check in with some people from your Thrive Tribe, ask for their feedback. When you come up with the ideal of who you are, who you want to be rather, and how you want to be seen, check that against the current reality. And if there's a gap between who you want to be seen as, who you want to become, and where you are right now, commit to yourself that you will do the work that's necessary to bridge the gap. You absolutely have the power to change, transform any aspect of your life that you want. If the vision is clear, if you create a goal, if you're clear about who's around you, and if you're intentional about your brand. If you do these things, if you do the work, if you're consistent, meaning not just when you feel like it, not just when it's easy, but if you're consistent in working forward, if you commit to the work, right? Committing to something is different than wanting something. Wanting has a kind of energy, yeah, it would be nice. But when you commit to something, that's when you say, I'm gonna do this no matter what. And if you stay conscious, in other words, stay woke, be aware of your surroundings, and don't allow yourself to fall into lackadaisical behavior. Don't allow yourself to fall into negative thinking. If you are consistent, committed, and stay conscious, you will have what is necessary. You will be able to create a life that you love and that loves you back. So, do your homework. I sound like a broken record. I've said it about 30 times through this program, but it is so critical. This branding piece is so important, and it's something that's going to change over time as you get older, as you mature, as you change careers. The idea, though, is to be intentional about who you are, because if you're not making up your own mind about who you want to be, and if you're not intentional and decisive about creating your own image, other people are going to make assumptions about you, and you want to be in the driver's seat of your life. And at the very minimum, you want to make sure that you're walking in this world and presenting yourself in a way that feels good and is authentically you. There's so many people walking around with masks, pretending to be people that they're not because they don't know who they are. This branding exercise, if you do the work, will help you really define and refine who you are and put you on a path to be able to live a really authentic life and be the highest and best version of yourself. So do your work, and I'll see you on the other side.